think we're live.
All right, good morning. Good morning, Facebook and Zoom participants. Carlene and I are here with COVID Recovery Iowa to offer some legacy writing questions. And today we are celebrating part of our 12 days of Christmas leading up to the Christmas holiday. And today's theme is a few of my favorite things. Just a reminder, if you are writing your own personal legacy as you go each week with us, we'll throw out a few questions for you. We'll discuss them live here on Facebook, and we encourage you to participate in the comments. And we also encourage you to get a notebook and jot down your answers to our legacy questions. And this is a manageable way to write your own legacy, a few questions at a time each week. And do you have any ideas, Carlene, for the folks who don't feel like writing, how they might use these questions?
One other suggestion is if they have a cell phone, there's usually an app on there, a voice record app. Hit the button, speak into that, and make several notes in there, and then go back and listen to them, or make those audio notes as your legacy to share with your family if you have that opportunity.
That would make a nice legacy. Somebody could, your loved ones could hear your voice. Well, we'll start with question number one, a few of my favorite things. What is your favorite place to watch the sunrise? Do you want to answer that, Carlene? And I'll put this up in our comments.
Sure. Well, I have had the pleasure of watching the sunrise on the East Coast. Absolutely beautiful early morning Florida coast sunrise on the eastern side of that peninsula. Enjoyed that very much. I also enjoy just sitting on a quiet hill. One time I lived in a town that the church sat on a hill overlooking the river. And there was a place to sit with some benches on the ledge. And I would like to go to that ledge and watch the sunrise over the river.
That sounds beautiful. There we go. I'm sorry about that. I had a little issue with my audio. My favorite place that I've watched the sunrise was in the Grand Tetons. We were on a vacation and we were staying in a rental home and living on the plains as I do. I hadn't ever watched a sunrise as you're watching it in the mountains, and just the slow way that the sun plays over the mountains, starting at the top and just rolls down the side of the mountain and illuminates everything it was a chance to see the world from a whole nother perspective. And my favorite place to catch a sunrise is definitely in the mountains.
Oh, that sounds beautiful, Kelly.
Our second question today is, where is your favorite vacation destination? Oh, you know what? I think we're going to back up real quick because we have an answer on Facebook. Brianne says the beach in Mexico has been her favorite place to see the sunrise. Anytime she's on vacation, she thinks the sunrise is fun to see. I would agree with that, but I have not caught a sunrise in Mexico yet. That sounds beautiful. Now we'll move on to question number two. Where is your favorite vacation destination? Do you have a favorite, Carlene?
I love to go everywhere. So I don't have a favorite vacation destination. Like I said, I've visited the East Coast, the West Coast, the mountains, the desert mountains. I could be satisfied in any of those places for a vacation. And even in the Midwest, at a campsite somewhere, just enjoying the outdoors. Outdoor vacations are my favorite in nature. How about you, Kelly?
I'm not that much of a traveler. I do enjoy traveling, but I like the quiet destinations rather than the large, large packed places. And, I mentioned being in the mountains. I just like to travel and see new places. But for me, it's always got to have a little bit of quiet time in there, a little bit of nature. So as long as there's some nature involved, I'm all right trying new destinations. And we have an answer from somebody on Facebook that says, if I could only visit one place for the rest of my life, Italy is where she would go.
That is traveling abroad is on my list for someday in this life. I've been to Canada and been to Mexico, but no further. So I would love to travel abroad.
Well, yeah, I've never traveled abroad. I've only seen the West Coast. I haven't seen the East Coast yet, but those would be big plans for me. Italy sounds lovely. And I'm wondering if the person who answered on Facebook, have you taken a gondola ride while you were in Italy? I bet you saw some amazing art.
That just sounds romantic. The gondola.
Yes, it does. Our next question is, what is your favorite time of the year? And do you want to go first with that, Carlene?
Why don't you go first this time, Kelly, and I'll follow up.
All right. My all-time favorite time of the year is most definitely summer. I love the heat. I love the thunderstorms. I just love summer. Everything is green, and it's my all-time favorite. It rarely gets too hot for me in the summertime.
Well, it does get too hot for me in the summertime sometimes. I grew up south of Iowa, however, in Arkansas and Missouri and Southern California and different places that were further south. So and in California experienced the Santa Ana winds and really hot over 100-degree with wind. And although it's a dry heat, it's still hot. And I lived in Las Vegas for a while and in Tucson, Arizona for a while. So it definitely has gotten too hot for me, too hot to touch the door handle on the car without blistering your fingers. So I love summer also, but I feel very fortunate to live in the Midwest where we have an array of seasons and the transitions between the seasons. I love spring because new life is popping up and new blooms, and the tulips are, they're like the transition flower between winter and spring. And I just love to see the tulips pop up through the snow. And then, but spring and the new life is my favorite, but runs a very, very close second to fall, when things begin to come into their whole maturity of color and shed all of that heaviness of the seasons and go dormant to start all over again. So spring and fall are pretty much tie for me.
My favorite time of the year, being summer. And speaking about this, I'm going to switch the order of the questions that we have for today, and I'm going to go ahead and insert. Can you name something that you like about each of the seasons? And you hit on some of that for me. I love the promise that spring brings. It's always a special treat to see the plants poking up through the earth, and then to see that insects are coming back, the ladybugs or the other little bugs that you see on the ground. It just is a promise that everything's gonna come back and spark to life again. And as you said, who wouldn't love the color changes in the fall? And my favorite thing about the season of winter is that first snowfall. That's the one snow that I really love. The rest of it, I don't know. I'm waiting for spring, but I love the first snowfall, the quiet feel of it, the peacefulness of it. And then I guess my favorite thing about summer is I just like feeling warm and comfortable.
Yeah.
Although I test that theory by getting out to the desert and seeing if I really like the heat that much. Huh?
Yeah, that first snow, I was thinking about how quiet that is, how quiet it sounds when the snow is falling, and being able to enjoy the undisturbed snow without having to get out and drive in it, or but it's so clean and beautiful, sparkly.
We have an answer on Facebook. Somebody answered wintertime, the white snow blanketing everything. Spring, the smell of the air is so fresh, and I love thunderstorms and rainy days. Summer, the long days and the warm summer nights. And fall, by far the best season. The colors are pretty and the temperature is perfect, and football season.
I agree. I agree with that very much. This feels quite poetic, discussing the seasons and how they affect us and make us think and feel. It sounds very poetic. I think sometimes if people are poetic, we had a participant not long ago, well, maybe it was last winter, who had written a poem, and she shared her poem with us here on our Silver Linings. And I think that is a great way to express, if anyone has the desire or propensity to be poetic, put a poem in your legacy writing or in your journal writing, and just let that, enjoy that creativity and put that there for someone else to enjoy later. Share your heart and your mind.
It's amazing how when you bring up a topic, it takes you back in time to a specific memory. It just brings back these lovely memories. And when we're talking about the season, whether it's the smell of the season, the feel, the colors that you see, it just brings back such vivid memories. That's why questions, when you're trying to write your own legacy, that's why questions are a good approach to take when you're legacy writing, or topics. I'll move us on to our next topic. It's describe your favorite way to spend your birthday.
I like to spend my birthday surrounded by my children and grandchildren, and just do whatever they want to do, whatever they have planned. I just enjoy their minds, and I enjoy their smiles, and they're happy about coming up with ideas and sharing them, and giving me an experience. I like to enjoy what they want to share. So,
And
what about you?
I'm going to go to the whole other end of the spectrum on that question. I just like my birthday to be a quiet day, and I just kind of go in and turn the phones off. If it's a day that I'm not working, my phone's off, my media is off, and I just take a day of self-reflection, and I like to have that day alone. My family and friends know that, and I don't even need to hear a happy birthday at all.
Gosh, yeah.
And I know plenty of people who they just love to feel a little bit spoiled and noticed on their birthday. And from the time I was a child, I just wanted a nice, quiet birthday to celebrate by myself.
Yeah, that's nice. Those days of solitude are nice.
Brianne on Facebook says, I love a simple birthday, just enjoying the little things and getting coffee, going to breakfast, being around friends and family.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. All right, here's another question. What is your ideal way to relax?
What's your ideal way to relax, Kelly?
Kind of the way I celebrate my birthdays, some quiet. I'm an introvert. I love the quiet. The ideal way for me to relax, I guess, is with a book in my hand. Maybe a little bit of music in the background, but definitely, I think I have books in every room. And when, as far as reading, I've got different topics for my books, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, it depends on the mood. But I love to relax with quiet and a book. And on Facebook, I see alone time. How do you like to relax, Eileen?
Excuse me, a multitude of ways like that. I like to relax like that sometimes. Sometimes I like to just maybe put some earbuds in and listen to classical music. I love classical guitar. That's very relaxing for me, more so than symphony because my mind starts thinking about all of the instruments and the harmonies, but just a simple guitar, classical guitar line is a wonderful way to relax. My favorite way to relax is with a friend, sitting outdoors, having a beverage, maybe in the morning with a cup of coffee. I've had a friend come over and we had a fire in the chimney and had coffee to start our day. And I so enjoy that. And I enjoy the evening on the deck with a cool drink in the summer, a warm drink in the fall, with a friend, with just a single friend, and just having a relaxing conversation and talking about the good things that reflecting on our lives and the good things in our lives. That's probably my very favorite way to relax, is with another person.
Yeah, I can almost smell the campfire, the chimney.
Yeah.
And my apologies for the noise interruption there. Our next question is, do you have a favorite restaurant? Do you have a favorite restaurant that you like to eat at, or do you prefer a home-cooked meal?
I'm very much a homebody. I've never been one, even in a dating scenario, going on a date with your spouse or going on a date with anybody, going out to eat has never been an attraction for me. I just feel like we can eat at home. Let's go see something that we don't see. We can't do at home. So favorite restaurant, I really don't have a favorite. Simply my kids and grandkids enjoy Chick-fil-A. So we're kind of frequent flyers at Chick-fil-A if I go with one of my daughters, and the others, we do things where we're not really going out to eat. So I guess I really have a different perspective on going out to eat. How about you?
When it comes to going out to eat, it's always hard for me to decide where I want to go. And I like to make my grown kids' favorite foods, and I like to make their homemade chicken, mashed potatoes and gravy, that type of stuff, and that's my favorite meal. And I think part of it is the process of cooking it. But when it comes to going out to a restaurant, it's always hard for me to decide. So I'll pick it by, well, do I want to find a pizza place? Am I hungry for barbecue? Do I want to hit my favorite Chinese food place? So for me, it's more of a type of food rather than one specific restaurant because it's so hard to decide.
Yeah. It sounds like food might be one of your love languages, Kelly.
Oh, you know what? Maybe it is. I don't find myself cooking as much, but oh my goodness, I miss those days of cooking everything from scratch. And that was fun. Cooking is fun for me.
You know, it's interesting when you're raising children and you're cooking a meal for a meal the size of for a family. When that changes and we do our empty nest time, like you and I are in now, it's kind of hard to scale that back and figure out how to cook for one person, isn't it?
Oh my goodness, it is. Yeah. Or do I cook a lot and freeze it up and until I'm tired of that food?
I found myself doing a lot of that during the pandemic. I think everything was just so unpredictable that I would make like a large pot of chili and freeze that in maybe 2 servings or 4 serving containers. And the same thing with other big meals. I would, like a big pot of spaghetti or something, I would freeze a lot of food. And I raised a garden too, and I did a lot of freezing and canning just in the unpredictability of the pandemic. So since we're talking about favorite things, those are some of my very favorite things, the gardening and preserving food. Feels like an accomplishment. It feels like it almost feels like being able to make something out of nothing. So gives me a sense of security in a pandemic, actually.
Yes, and when there's so many uncertainties, it's nice to find something that you can focus on and that you do have a little bit of control over. And most definitely growing a garden and putting up your own preserves is a good way to do that. I know back in the war, people planted victory gardens, and I know that during the pandemic, a lot more people tried gardening. Maybe gardening has come back. We have a comment on Facebook that says it sure is hard to cook for one. And yes, I agree with that. Takes creativity. We have another Facebook comment that says home cooked meal. I do love Chipotle and Jimmy John's though. Yeah, so do I. I haven't thought of Chipotle for a while. Thanks, Brianna. I'll have to try that. I'm going to peek at what our next question is here. And it's name something about, oh, wait a minute. We've already covered that. My apologies. This is our last question for today. Where is your favorite place to watch the sunset? Do you want to answer that one, Carlene?
Sure. Again, the West Coast, over the ocean is my very favorite place to watch the sunset, because at that time of day, the seagulls are flying around. Sometimes as things begin to settle down on public beaches, you might see dolphins come along and play. I remember the first time I ever saw the ocean, I think I was 15, and drove down to the beach, and there were 3 little dolphins playing in the water, and the sun was setting and the seagulls were flying over. If you're around seagulls much, they just feel like dirty pigeons. But the first time I saw it, it was it was so romanticized in my mind, and it was so just almost storybook is the way I described it. But that's my favorite place to watch the sunset. And outside of that, probably over a large lake. If I could sit in a lawn chair beside a large lake and watch the sunset. So sunrises and sunsets for me are beautiful, coupled with water and the reflections on the water of the colors and just the ribbons of color. And so that's how I like to enjoy the sunset. How about you?
Well, my favorite place to catch a sunset is in my yard with my family, or in one of their yards too. I guess neither of my kids' yards, but I like I like sitting out on the patio with my family, surrounded by family, and just to sit there as the sun's going down. It's to me, it's very relaxing. It's I'm surrounded by my favorite people, and then you have the beautiful colors of the sunset. And I'm not seeing any other answers on Facebook right now, and those are all of our questions. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today on Silver Linings and talking about a few of our favorite things. And I don't know if there are any of you that watch The Sound of Music every year when it's on television at this time of year. I think this weekend is when it's on the network television channels. And thanks for joining us. We are here, Carlene and I are here representing COVID Recovery Iowa. COVID Recovery Iowa is here for all Iowans of all ages. We're here to offer emotional support, an outlet if you're feeling isolated and you need somebody to talk to. We're also here to help you if you need resources, if you need a little bit of extra help with food, especially through these holidays, or if you're looking for rent or utility resources. Give us a call at COVID Recovery Iowa. I'll post those phone numbers in the comments, but we are here and we would love to help you. Do you have anything else to add, Carlene?
Thank you, Kelly, for putting together these questions and for walking down these memories with all of us. And thank you for this time to share with folks and interact both on Zoom and on Facebook. I would say, I want to remind people that we are here 5 days a week. On Monday, for right now, our Mondays are focused on resources in the community and community partners to help you find resources that you may be needing. And Tuesdays, we do a live music, mid-morning music break. And on Wednesdays, we're doing these writing workshops. And then on Thursday, we're doing Travel Thursday. And tomorrow, we're going to visit Lauritsen Gardens in Omaha. And we're going to visit their poinsettia show. So poinsettia, however you say that. The verdict is still out. And then on Fridays, we have Fun Friday with trivia and games and name that tune, movie trivia, television show trivia, holiday trivia. So lots of things going on here Monday through Friday. And I will add that if you need to call us, our number is 844-775-9276. We have a variety of Facebook groups that you can involve yourself in, and you can find those on our website at covidrecoveryiowa.org. Click on the word media at the bottom, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and you will find the Facebook groups there in the media section. So check it out and see if there's other activities that you'd like to participate in.
Thank you, Carlene, and we hope to see you back at Silver Linings tomorrow.